Is it time to blow it up in Detroit with the Lions? We back, Motor City Sports Talk. We in the building. Always love to hear your comments and rebuttals back to the videos. As long as they respectful, negative or positive comments, always welcome. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and be part of the Motor City Sports Talk family and Detroit gang. But we here, man. We talking about Matthew Stafford, Bob Quinn, Martha Ford, Matt Patricia. And is it time to blow it up in Detroit? And when I mean blow it up, I mean new quarterback. And, new direction at head coach. As far as the general management and Bob Quinn, I don't think he's did a terrible job. And like I said in my last video, it's not all on him. He's not going to get every pick right. Let me say that. I think he's been more than competent. But you got to realize this. A lot of what he can do and what he can't do is really handcuffed by the Fords. The Fords is a really frugal owners when it comes to Lions. They treat them like stepchilds. They frugal when they come to their terrible cars as well. I can tell you firsthand with that as well. So they're an overall frugal family. They don't really want to go and they don't really want to go out there and win, in my opinion. So at the end of the day, Bob Quinn is in that type of position where you can put a lot of onus on him. Okay? But I think he's been the most competent general managers the Lions have had, since 2000 when Matt Millen, I believe, came in, whenever he came in. Easily. So at the end of the day, I trust him to be able to rebuild this franchise because obviously I don't think the Lions are going to go out there and get anybody else that's better. I think this is the ceiling. The floor is the ceiling, whatever. The ceiling is the roof, whatever Michael Jordan says. So, seriously, because Martin Mayhew was a dreadful drafter, and so was Matt Millen. We know that. And like I said in my other video, what they done with Millen and how Millen and Tom LeWine and Martin Mayhew was making the picks. Tom LeWine was the guy, hashing out the contracts. That was the tandem. And LeWine and Mayhew was up under Matt Millen, if you didn't know that, okay? So I say that to say this. Their misses in the draft and a lot of misses in the draft is still affecting this team 15, 6, 3, 2 years later. All them years later is still affecting the depth of this team. You missing 2007 is still affecting this team because it's the lack of depth on this team, a lack of talent on this team, and, quite frankly, it's just the overall missing all them picks and picks not panning out and overall morale of the team. So you can have a frugal owner and still go out and win. You see the richest owner, like for Dan Snyder for the Redskins, Jerry Jones for the Cowboys, willing to spend as much money as they can, go into the luxury tax, whatever they have in the NFL, to win. So my first question is, do you trust Bob Quinn to put a winner and rebuild his team the right way? And I do, because I don't believe the Lions will find anybody that's better than him. He had really good draft picks. He had some bad draft picks. Taylor Decker, before the shoulder injury, was a phenomenal left tackle. He's not doing so good right now, okay? Kenny Galladay was a great find. Deshaun Hand was a great find. Snacks Harrison was a great pickup, a great trade. I think they did a phenomenal job moving Golden Tate out of here, getting something for him, and not overpaying him at the beginning of the twilight of his career, $14 million per season. If that was true, they done a lot of great things. You're gonna have misses. They have had misses. You know what I'm saying? But I like the player that Tracy Walker can become. Yes, he did miss with Ashawn Robinson. Yes, he did miss with Tease Tabor. Seems he got it right with Kerryon Johnson. And you can go, Miles Killebrew was a bad pick. You can go and nitpick his picks, but I think he's the best drafter the Lions has had. He had a solid year this year. Frank Ragnow, like he's going to be a solid pick. Who else? Kerryon Johnson looked good. Deshaun Hand looked good. Tracy Walker looked good when he played. So, I mean, he had more success. His success rate seems to be higher just off the top of the dome than Mayhew's and Matt Millen's was, in my opinion. So, I do believe he can get the job done and rebuild this franchise the right way. And as far as the quarterback, is the quarterback the guy that's going to take this team to the next level? You had a 10-year sample size. No. Obviously, through, all the coaches, Jim Swords, Jim Caldwell, Matt Patricia, through the OCs, offensive coordinator Scott Linehan, Joe Lombardi, Jim Bob Cooter, to an offensive mastermind like Jim Caldwell and what he did with Joe Flacco. That's why I called him a mastermind. And stepping in for Cam Cameron the year the Ravens won the Super Bowl. Nothing has been able to help Matthew Stafford. Even making him a game manager hasn't helped him. And obviously, I feel like it's time to move on for Matthew Stafford. I don't know the cap hit and stuff of that nature, but I don't think you're going to win a championship with Matthew Stafford, especially if you're not going to be perfect in your approach of picking players around him. And, you've seen it with the Green Bay Packers. They haven't been perfect in picking players around him. Maybe free agents, or drafting with the Patriots and stuff of that nature. They haven't been perfect, but they have the equalizer in the quarterback, and the Lions need to find them an equalizer. If they feel that they can, work with Matthew Stafford and they can work with Matthew Stafford and, put the pieces around him to be successful, so be it. Well, that would start off with giving him a top defense, which he's already had a top defense before. And, the offense wasn't competent. So, at the end of the day, I'm of the nature of moving on from Matthew Stafford, rebuilding from the top. Maybe, TJ Lang leaving as well. I think for 10 years, and the stats tell you Matthew Stafford is pathetic in the win-loss column. The eye test tell you from quarter 1 to 3, Matthew Stafford is pathetic. Quarter 1 to 3, he ain't the guy for Detroit. Obviously, he can't read defenses. Joe Lombardi said he was stupid on his way out. I'm paraphrasing. That's pretty much what he said. And I think it's time to move on from Matthew Stafford and rebuild the franchise from the top. And the next question to be like, who is going to be this difference maker that you want the Lions to get? It's not up to me. I watch some college football, and obviously a lot of people like Tua coming out in 2 years, and some other quarterbacks. The quarterback from Oregon possibly can come out this year. The Lions on track to be a top 10 pick, even higher if they continue to lose. That's not my job, but I do trust Bob Quinn to go ahead and find that difference maker for the Lions. I don't think the Lions are going anywhere with Matthew Stafford. Now, is Matt Patricia the coach? Do you pull the plug on Matt Patricia? Obviously, we know Bob Quinn is not going to give his friend a one-shot, one-kill type of scenario. He's going to continue to carry on. And, at the end of the day, you have to believe in his vision. Obviously, I'm a guy of fair tries and fair shots. He hasn't proved to me anything different from Caldwell. He was supposed to take this team to the next level. He did not. They did not catch on to his schemes. Guys dropped off like Glover Quinn. Guys had setback years like Zeke Ansah due to health. Obviously, the offense is the same as when Caldwell left because they still have Jim Bob Cooter. But obviously, I think for him to stay, it has to be an overhaul of his coaches and coordinators. And at that point, you might as well have an overhaul of him, right? New defensive coordinator. Don't like Patricia. I don't like Jim Caldwell as the offensive coordinator. I don't like the offensive line. I don't like the run game coordinator. They have done nothing to consistently improve this football team, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. But I'm not a guy that want to give a guy 1 year. It takes years or seasons to implement a system, and I want to give him a fair shot to implement a system. But at the end of the day, they gotta change. They gotta get a new quarterback, rebuild the quarterback situation, rebuild the team, rebuild the front. You might want to get rid of Rick Ragnar, obviously TJ Lang, get more young linemen up there, and get more new coaches and coordinators. I think it's got to be an overhaul. Jim Cooter, he got to go. He ain't that good. You want to get somebody that's innovative in their offense, young, and that understands, like Sean McVay, how to run an offensive team. But if it was up to me, I love to get guys a fair shot, but I would just tear this whole motherfucker down. Sorry to get explicit or belligerent, excuse me. I tear it all the way down. I'll let Bob Quinn continue to do what he do. He want to keep Matt Patricia as coach. I have no issue with it, but we need a new offensive system, and we need his defensive system to have the players at the skill positions that he needs to be successful. And we need a new offensive coordinator. But Matthew Stafford going forward, 10 years, we already had a sample size of him. We had a full breakfast, brunch, lunch, dinner, and dessert of him. I think he should be able to move on. We should get rid of him at all costs. He ain't the guy. I feel like that with a few guys around the NFL, Andy Dalton, guys that's been sitting here and not improving and holding their team back. That's my personal opinion. From that aspect, I'm tearing everything down after tearing everything down. Matt Patricia and below Matt Patricia and down. May it be an offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, positional coaches, Matthew Stafford, older veteran players like Lang and Wagner, and I'm just tearing it all the way down. And I'm bringing a new innovative offensive coach in. I'm bringing some innovative defensive coaches in, some innovative line coaches in. I'm just tearing it down because the Lions are going nowhere real fast. And I think it's an overhaul that has to go from the head coach on down. That's my personal opinion. Stafford is not a winner. It's proven. He can't cover up the deficiencies. They need some quarterback or some transcending Todd Gurley, Ezekiel Elliott type of player, or Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady type of player to cover the deficiencies up. And I'm just keeping it in a buck. A lot of people ain't going to feel this video. A lot of people are going to say, I'm a hater, but you know I'm not lying. Look at Matthew Stafford win stats. Look at his time in winning time. It's good when it's come down to the last 2 minutes when the game is out of reach. When you look at quarters 1, 2, and 3, he ain't that guy. You've seen that again today. I think it's time for them to move on from him and his loudmouth wife. You know what I'm saying? You know, learn something about football. You can probably teach a husband how to read coverages. You know, quarterbacks for dummies. You read it up, Kelly. You cheerleading girl. You read it up. You do your pom-poms. You coach your husband on how to read defenses. And then maybe he can stay in this city and play quarterback. But obviously he's a resilient quarterback. I don't believe in his ability to read coverage. I don't believe in his ability to lead a team. His leadership is garbage at best. And through Calvin Johnson, Dominican Sue, and Matthew Stafford, the whole era needs to be over with. They need an overhaul. And like I say, man, it's just my personal opinion. But we had 10 years of Stafford here. It's time to change it. It's time to change Jim Bob Cooter. It's time to make a change at the quarterback position. Obviously, I will keep on with the younger guys, except for Tease Tabor. Miles Killebrew can kick rocks. I think Gerard Davis showed enough to stay on this team, maybe as an outside linebacker. It's time to make the Lions great again, like the fucking 50s or 60s, whenever they was good. Obviously, we tired of every year rooting and getting our hopes up, and people going down there spending their money every year on the Lions, knowing the results are going to be the same. You know, it's time for a change. And it's time to change Matthew Stafford. He's making too much money. And I'd rather just be bad with a cheap quarterback. No more rookie. It's a rookie salary cap. No more unlimited salaries like when he came into the league. It's time to change. And at the end of the day, I think Bob Quinn is the guy for the job because I don't think the Lions can do any better. It's better to be done out there, but they won't do better. But let me know how you feel. Motor City Sports Talk. Appreciate you guys. Remember, we're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can email me, DM me, ask me a question, ask for a video request, and I will try to accommodate those as well. I definitely appreciate all the brothers and sisters supporting the channel, sharing the videos as well. Want to make a donation to the channel? That link's always in the description as well. Appreciate it, man. We're going to continue to move forward, and I definitely appreciate everybody and giving the love and sharing our videos across the internet. One time for the one time. And we're going to continue to talk Detroit sports and do a little bit more Piston coverage, man. I got time. But y'all know what it is.